Hey guys, so next up in the continuing of the revisiting of my very first set of videos, we've already done the pages, and those were a lot of fun, and we did the plastic sleeves. So the next part is the covers, right? So this is the original one that I actually made on camera years ago. I don't even remember exactly. I'll have to look up the date. But this is the one I actually made. And I was debating, and that's what it ended up looking like. So I was debating on if I wanted to do another recycled cover like this. And I was watching the video again, and I was like, yeah, maybe I should go ahead and just make another one. The recycled cereal box or recycled cardboard box of any kind. Because I really didn't do a very good job, which you don't have to be super neat and precise. I mean, the corners aren't even corners. They're kind of rounded. I don't know. It's very strange. But, I mean, it was good. It's still good. It still did what it needed to do. So I thought I would revisit this, the same technique as well. So I went and I got into my recycle bin and I found a box. This is a Cheez-It box. It's almost perfect for the size of this album. See, there's a natural, what's that called? Edge there. So it fits almost perfect. It's a little wider than the original, but that's okay. I'm not concerned about that. So I found this box, and I'm gonna cut this down. And in order to fit these pages, I figured out that it needs to be an 8 1/4 tall by a 6 1/4 wide. So let me show you how I did that. All right, I got my big Fiskars heavy duty paper trimmer out. And I think the first thing I'm gonna do is, I think I'm going to cut it down to 8 1/4 height before I open the box up. So this paper trimmer will go through these layers, so don't worry. I find it easier to pull to myself. Let me bring this way. I find it easier to pull it to myself versus pushing it away. I just feel like I have a little more leverage. So I cut one end off, and then I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to bring it to the 8 1/4 mark. The cut side that I just made. Oh, push that back up. So I'm going to go 8 1/4 here, like that. And then I'm going to pull down again. It does take a little bit of effort to get through those layers, but it can be done. So then I'm going to open the box up here, just like that. So this is going to be my spine. This piece right here is going to be my spine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this in here. And I'm gonna this natural score mark here, I'm gonna put it at 6 1/4. I'm gonna line it up to the 6 1/4 on my paper trimmer, just like this. Oh, see how it shifted? Got to be a little bit more careful. We don't want a crooked cover. Okay, so I'm gonna hold on to it a little bit better so you didn't want to cut it off. I will link everything that I use in the description box below if I can find it. So if you're curious about something, you can just go beneath the video and you can find it. All right, same thing here. I'm going to slide this under, go to the 6 1/4 mark with this score mark right there. And I'm going to trim that off. See how it was almost perfect? So I really barely cut anything off, and you probably can't see that. Yeah, you can. So now we've got the covers to our album, right? So here is the box, the recycled box that I'm going to use, and there's the pages, and they fit inside just perfectly with a lot of room in between. So that'll be perfect. So, okay, so then the next thing I want to do is I want to cover the whole thing. You do not have to do it this way, but this is just the way, whoops, I just need something. This is the way that I do it, just to make it a little more sturdy and to cover up a lot of the writing on the boxes, like the graphics and whatnot. Plus I'm going to be doing several layers. So the next thing I want to do is I've got some packing material. This is just some recycling that I pulled out of my recycling. I keep it all together, like tissue paper, packing material, that kind of things, because it's kind of all can do the same thing. So I have it all together in a big bag. So I cut this down to size. I found a piece and I cut it down to size so it'll go all the way around the edges. And then I took the cover here and I just cut one down. I measured it, obviously I know what the measurement is, and I cut another piece down to fit on the inside just like that. Okay, so you got two pieces. And so what I'm going to do, what I'm going to use, first thing, I need something to go underneath my project here so I don't make a mess. This is just a something I use underneath my mixed media stuff and messy stuff. It's just a piece of, I think it's a piece of, I think it's a mixed media paper, like a really large sheet. So anyway, so I'm gonna put that underneath, and then I'm gonna use some, this is PVA glue, and I get this at my art supply store. Oh, it says shake well before use. Huh, okay. But you can use any white glue that you have. You do not have to use PVA. There's a lot of debate on whether it's even worth it. It's a little bit more expensive than regular white glue, but this is what I have, so this is what I'm using. So it's just white glue. So whatever white glue that you have, feel free to use that. You can even water it down. You could use Mod Podge. You can use anything similar to white glue. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. It's really simple. I'm going to take this and just literally pour it directly onto my box here. I'm going to be generous. Like that. Then I'm just going to take a card. This is just a gift card that's already been used. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spread it all the way around the edges, kind of scraping. You really want to make sure you cover the whole surface. This is a little messy, so you might get glue all over you. So you might want to be careful what you wear. When I was watching my other video, I just can't help it but cringe because I didn't focus the camera. I mean, I just don't understand what I was thinking. Okay, so then I'm going to pick this up, flip it over, and I'm going to lay it down just like this, and I'm going to go ahead and press it down a little bit, and then I'm going to go back with the card and make sure that all the edges are good and pressed down like that. Okay, so then the next thing I want to do is I want to cut these edges off so that I can fold them. These are Tim Holtz scissors. That way if anything gets stuck to them, it won't be, or if any glue gets on there, it won't get stuck to the scissors. And I'm just going to cut these corners off. Not all the way to the cardboard box. I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch. You don't even need that much, but that's what I got going here. So I'm going to cut these corners. You know, in my first video too, I think I used a thicker packaging material, and maybe that's why my corners didn't turn out as well as I wanted them to. So that's possible. Alright, so then I'm going to take the glue that's left over on here, and I'm going to try to get it onto the edges. I might need to pour some more. I'm going to get some more. So I'm just going to pour some in the middle here. It's going to get used, so I'm not worried about it. So then I can just drag some over where I need it. Alright, so then I'm going to fold this up. And I'm going to smooth it out. I like to do the long sides first. Everybody has their own way of doing it, but that's the way I like to do it. I just think it turns out neater. Okay, so let's do this opposite side here. Just like that. Fold it over, smooth it out. I'm going to go ahead and smooth this out with my card here, and same over here. Okay, so then I'm going to kind of like score where it's going to fold there, just so that it folds nicer. I'll get some glue and bring it over here. Oop, can you see? There we go. And then I'm going to fold it up like that. Smooth it down. Okay, I'm going to flip this around. Do the same thing to this side. Oops, let me get that edge there. All right, and fold it up. Let me get this excess glue here. Don't want to waste. All right, so then you got that. So then right away you want to go ahead and add some more glue. Do you all ever do that? You get glue on your fingers and you just sit there and rub your fingers together? It's kind of relaxing. Isn't that weird? Am I the only weird person that does that? All right, so now I'm going to spread it all over the surface here. And make sure I try to get it as best I can to the edges. Even coat. This may be a little too much glue, but that happens. All right, so then I'm going to take my liner sheet and I'm going to pop it right on here and try to keep it centered like that. All right, so I'm going to take my card again and smooth it out. And make sure I get all these edges. Go and flip it around. So from here, you can do just about anything. You can do any kind of treatment that you want to do to your covers. But I'm going to do what I did in my original video. I'm going to use paint and, what's that called? Tissue wrap by Tim Holtz. I'm going to do the same thing I did in that video. Okay. Alright, so then you really need to let this dry. I'm going to go ahead and bend it a little bit and make sure that everything is good and connected. Just like this. Right? So then you need to just let this dry. So I've already made a cover in advance. It's not 100% completely dry. It's getting there, but it's exactly the same thing. Okay, so in my original video, you can see there that it's covered with the Tim Holtz tissue wrap. This is the one I pulled out. This one is Terminology. Right there. I got it at Tuesday Morning or something like that for really super cheap. But you could also use anything. You could use tissue paper. You know, you can stamp on your own tissue paper, all that stuff. You can use anything that'll kind of be a little transparent when you attach it down to your cover. That's kind of what you're looking for. So, in my original one, I used paint. So what I did is I painted it and then I attached the tissue wrap to the wet paint. So I wanted to do like this blue-green color. I really like that color. So in here, I've got the original combination of paint. Chromium oxide green, light portrait pink, and white. I also used matte medium to make it go further. So let's see. So I pulled those out. I got my white. This is acrylic paint, so I've got my titanium white, my chromium oxide green. I've had these things forever. I mean, I've got so much paint that I've had for probably 20, 30, maybe even more years. I don't know. And this light portrait pink. Okay, so I opened this one up and it's fine. Well, when I went to open this one up, it opens, but everything is all like rubbery inside. There is no liquid paint. Is it gonna focus? There is no liquid paint inside there at all. So I was like, shoot. So the way I found the combination, this was the combination I found to match this blue-green color right here. So I have a great big color chart in the other room. So I was like, well, shoot, I need to figure out what I can use, because this is, I don't have another one of these and I don't want to go buy another one right now. So I need to find another color combination. So I went to my color chart, which maybe I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll take the camera off the thingy and I'll go show it to you. Okay, so here is my huge color chart. This is all the different paints that I have. We're currently, let me try to pan without making you sick. We are in my other room that I call my PSS room. I've vowed to show you guys at some point. Oops, sorry about the lighting there. The lighting in here is not very good. But here is the other room that I was telling you guys about. It's not quite ready for a big walkthrough, you know, to show you everything, but anywho, so we're in this room. Let me pan back around. Sorry about the lighting, it's not the best. So here's my color chart. And let me find the color match that I had previous. So there's a whole list of the paints on the side, and there's also a list of the paints all across the top there. So let me find it. There's chromium oxide green right here. Is this it? So this was the color right here originally that I used, which is chromium oxide green and light portrait pink. Okay, well, my portrait pink we know is garbage. So I had to find another color, and I think I ended up going with, what's this one? Light, this one right here. It's light blue violet and, oh no, that's not it. That's not it. Vivid lime green. I don't think that's what I picked. Maybe it's this one right here. No. Light blue violet. Oh, here it is. Light blue violet and sap green. So, and this has got white in it too. So this is the color that I picked to use instead of the one that is right here, since I don't have the light portrait pink. Okay. So again, this is my gigantic color chart. I'm not even sure what size this is, but it's pretty big. I'm trying to back up so you can get it all. It's pretty big. On the wall there, I've got other papers that I put underneath my mixed media stuff. But anywho's, so there's my chart, and that's what I refer to when I'm trying to match colors. And I keep saying one day I'll make a video on how I did this, so maybe I'll do that soon too. Alright, back to the project. Okay, so now that I found the colors that I need, I've got my light blue violet and my sap green and my white, and then I've also got my matte medium. This is liquid matte medium or fluid medium. You can get this at Hobby Lobby. This is just what I have. Whatever medium you have that allows your paint to go further, use that, or don't use any at all. Either way. But this is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to put my new Post-it note there of what it's going to take to make this. Let me stick it where it's not going to get lost. Let me move this one out of the way. So I'm going to mix my paint first. So I've got a paper palette here because I want to use a, what's this called? Palette knife to mix it up really good. So this is just a paper palette. This one I got at Hobby Lobby. You get a whole bunch of sheets, 40 sheets, and it works really well, especially for something like this. So what I'm going to start with, I think, is just equal parts of each color and then go from there. Whoa. Like that. And I'm going to go ahead and put some white out here so that I can mix it in when I need it. You're going to need enough paint to cover the inside and outside of the covers that you made, okay? So I'm going to put my color that I'm trying to match up here. So I'm just going to start mixing them. And the great thing about the palette knife is you can move the paint around, squish it, and you're not really wasting any paint. Like if you was to use a paintbrush, you may waste some. So these are just equal parts here, and I'm probably going to have to make more than this. but it might be, once I add the white, it might be the perfect color. Let's put some white in there. So I'm just mixing it up. And you kind of want it to be a little darker than what you think you need, because once you put this kind of whitish looking tissue paper on it, it's going to lighten it up quite a bit. Okay, so I think I like the equal parts, because once I get that tissue paper on top, it's going to lighten it up quite a bit. It's pretty close to the color that I'm looking for, just a little darker. So let me scoot that out of the way. So let me go ahead and make some more, because I'm going to need some more than that. So I'm going to go ahead, let's get a good amount of paint. You could use craft paint. You don't have to use, this is artist paint. You do not have to use artist paint. You can use craft paint. Again, this is just what I have, so use what you have. Okay, so now I'm going to add some of the matte medium in here. I'm just going to squirt it right on top. Mix that in. This should not change the color at all. It's clear, so okay. We'll put that aside. I need to grab my thing again, my under paper, real quick. And before I do anything else, I also need to get my tissue wrap. I already got a piece of tissue wrap that should fit on the inside here. I already got this out. Ooh, I need to cut it a little more, it looks like. I don't really want it to overlap a lot, so, or overlap the edges, I mean, the inside part. The outside I'm going to wrap just like I did with the packing paper. Okay, so that should be better. Yeah. Maybe I need to cut just a little bit more off this side. Okay, there we go. All right, so we got that ready. So then I'm going to get another piece here. And since it comes on this nice row, it makes it easy to get what you need. Rip it off. So I'm going to have this ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is, this is my outside of my covers. And I can't decide if I want to put it on with a sponge brush or with a card or with my palette knife. How about this? How about I put some on with my palette knife, like so. I'm gonna have to make more, I can already tell. And then spread the paint around with my sponge brush. I'm gonna get all the edges. You kind of have to work quick. It's a little warm in here right now. I'm upstairs. My studio's upstairs, so it's a little warmer up here than it is in the rest of the house. So then once you get that on there, you want to make sure that you work quick and that it doesn't dry. And then you just want to take this paper and smooth it out onto it. And like, for example, that part's dry, so let's add a little more paint. And then over here, it's dry. Just like that. Right. Just keep smoothing it down. So you can already tell that the color has lightened quite a bit. So here's the page. I think it's a pretty good match, you know. So it does come through this tissue wrap a little bit. Let me get, I'm gonna grab a baby wipe here. because I really don't want the color to be on top of the tissue wrap. So let me move this out of the way for a second. Please don't get on anything. So then I'm going to wipe this up just so I don't make a mess. Okay. So now that we got this flipped over, whoops, I should move my pages out of the way. They're going to get painted on. And I'm going to do the same thing with the corners. I'm going to cut the corners off, leaving about 1/4 of an inch-ish. I guess I could use that baby wipe to get it off my fingers. It's the thing about paint, you get it everywhere. Okay. I'm not cutting just a straight across the corner. I want to make sure that it overlaps a little bit. Ooh, almost went too close to that corner. Okay. Make sure I'm doing good. Okay, everything is doing good on the back side or the front side, or whatever side you want to call it. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take this brush and I'm going to paint the edges individually, one at a time, just so that we know that it all is going to get stuck down. So then you lift it up and smooth it out. It doesn't want to stick right there. Okay, just like that. And then same thing, I'm going to do this other side, this opposite side. And if you didn't want to do this, if you didn't want to do it this way, like you could wait for the paint to dry and then do, you know, a different type of glue. You don't have to use the paint as the glue. I just thought it would be fun. I don't know what the end result would be if you didn't use the paint as the glue, but I'm sure it would turn out just pretty. Okay. Oh, Lordy, look at my hands. Woohoo! Okay. So then I make sure these corners are crisp. Same thing over here. I'm going to flow that over. Alright, I'm going to get another baby wipe really quick. And whoop. And I'm just going to wipe the excess paint off there. Okay, I'm going to flip it around and do the same thing to this side. Pull it down. Let me get another baby wipe. Baby wipes are like staples when you're doing any kind of mixed media work. Have to have baby wipes. I guess you absolutely have to. Alright, so I'm going to take a minute and I'm really going to push down with this baby wipe all the way around here. See how cool that's going to look? I just love it. It's so cool. I don't guess it really has an up and a down, but anyways. Okay, so then you want to do the same thing. I'm going to need more paint this time for the back side. So I'm going to try to work quick because I don't want it to dry on me. And I would probably have to go around the edges with some paint, but that's okay. So I'm just going to lay this on here as best I can. Whoa. Not move it too much. Use the baby wipe real quick. Okay. So then you just need to find the spaces that didn't get paint on them. Wow. Don't rub too hard, or you're just going to rub it right off. See how crooked it got when I put it down? That's okay. Okay. Let's see if I can get, there we go. Got it squished under there. Oh, right here. Looks like some right here. Okay, let me get one more baby wipe. Really need to leave it alone. And let it dry. So I think I'm going to let it dry and then come back. Okay, so I think it's all good and dry now. You can see where some of the paint stayed on top of the tissue wrap, but that's okay. I'm not concerned about it. So in my original one, I did like a white. Looks like I just did white. It's hard to, since I don't have the actual album, it's really hard to to remember and to tell. But I did like a gesso around all of the edges, you know, to give it a little something something. But I think since the original pages, for example, were not inked at all, but now, let me find one the exact same. So now I inked the edges for this new one, and the original one is not inked. So I think what I'm going to do, instead of using the white gesso, I think I'm going to just use the ink, and I'm going to ink around the edges. So I'm going to see what that looks like first, and then go from there. So let me set this aside. Let me get my ink out here. I'm just going to, first I'm going to try using the archival ink in coffee. Right, with my Tim Holtz blending tool, and let's just see what happens. Ooh, let's do the inside first, just in case I don't like it. So I think I'm just gonna go like this. I think that'll look good. And let's see, make it darker. Maybe I'll have to use a darker ink, you know, like using two inks. I like to do that. So I'm just going to go around all the edges, inside and out. And I'm even going to try to get, I think this will bend both ways without hurting anything. I'm even going to try to get the inside edges just a little bit like this. Yeah. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do inside and outside of the covers. So it kind of looks like that. I like it, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so that was just inking around the edges, inside and out, and I like it. So here's the original. You can't really tell that well, but see how it's white? And so I think I'm going to do the more vintage look, and I also think that the original I didn't I didn't do anything on the covers, but I think for this one I will. So I think I'm going to leave it like this, and let's see what it looks like with all the pages. I think it's going to look really good. I think it's going to look good. So the next video I should be doing the binding part, where we bind all of the pages into the book. Into the covers, I'm sorry. So the original one, I had done a certain binding method, and then I put a whole bunch of beads on the side. So I'm still thinking about, I still haven't figured out how exactly I'm going to do this whole new revamped version, but I don't know. We'll see. So I don't know exactly which way I'm going to bind it, but we will. The next video, I'm going to be binding the signatures into the covers. So stay tuned for that. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, go ahead and hit this little circle right here. And you go ahead and watch these other videos that are on the screen as well. They might be something that you like. And I will see you next time. Bye.